Let's get this show over with.
How we doing, Nick?
Horrible. John, nice to meet you, man.
Can't stop me now. Can't stop me now. Can't stop me now. I'm just doing what I do. Won't stop doing what I do.
Hi, welcome to Behind the Mask. Today is episode 9, and it's brought to you by all sports officials up in Newtown, Pennsylvania. John, I'm happy to look over in the corner there and see our producer, Nick, is back from his Marine training.
Happy to have him back. The show can't run without him, so after hiatus for us, it's good to be back.
Nick is a world-class producer and engineer. Without him, we would be inside the gate. But now we're outside the gate, and things have really been going great.
Good to be outside the gate.
Anyway, couple of things coming up immediately that are right in front of us. We have a career day scheduled for Highland High School, which is your alma mater. How did that all come about, and what are we going to do when we get there?
I was very honored to be invited by the head of counseling in Highland High School to come out and speak with the junior class at Highland and sort of represent some opportunities that are a little bit outside the box for career day as far as umpiring goes and careers in the umpiring field. So I feel like that's a really ripe age for somebody who wants to get into umpiring in general or possibly a professional umpire. So I was very honored and touched that they thought I was worthwhile to reach out to, and we'll both be there. So we're looking forward to that, talking to some Highland High School juniors.
Now, do we have to prepare any kind of a formal presentation? Are we speaking at an assembly or of any sort?
And there'll be a series of stations with different companies, I'm sure. Some more mainstream, but we'll have a table dedicated to our organization with some informational pamphlets and sort of lay out the options and gauge the interest of some of the students and try to fill them in on anything they would need to know if they want to sort of take this avenue.
Anyway, all right, so that's Monday. Wednesday of next week, I see on the schedule that you and Kurt are going to be at Eastern University at 3:30 in the afternoon.
I like to highlight the games not only where I'll be umpiring, but when I'm teamed up with one of our instructors. Yeah. Kurt and I will be on that April 10th date at 3:30 at Eastern University, a very nice venue and Division III program over there. So that'll be cool to see us both work together. I'm not sure who has the plate. I have a feeling Kurt will have it just based off history. But either way, just to see the communication between him and I, we've probably done over 100 games as a umpire crew together. Yeah. So seeing the way we communicate, and even after doing 100 games, we still verbally communicate the entire game and give pre-pitch hand signals for rotations and the whole deal. So anybody who sort of overlooks the communication factor with umpiring crews would see that if there's any umpiring crew out there that could probably forego these communications, it would be me and Kurt, and we still don't because it's very much necessary. So I'm sure we'll get a pretty solid turnout of amateur and would-be umpires to check out that game.
Yeah, anybody who happens to come out there and observe, it's like watching a wonderful clinic, and very worthwhile. So if anybody has the time, I would recommend they run out there and watch. It's a nice area out there too, beautiful area.
Yeah, and we were there for 2:30 for a 3:30 start. So if you guys want to come out and talk in the parking lot about what we're going to be doing, or even afterwards, we're very approachable as far as that stuff goes.
Yeah, I think it'll be worthwhile. John, last Saturday you had cadet evaluation. The cadets had to work a scrimmage for the Area Little League.
Always an exciting day. The official last day for the cadet instruction is always an evaluation live scrimmage. We're very thankful that Area Little League had us out. Their minors baseball program and majors baseball program scrimmaged each other. It was a beautiful day. Really the first day the weather truly broke for us. It was 72 degrees.
Yeah, that was interesting.
So we got to look at all of our cadets finally with live ball strike, out safe with real players. So it's critical to see them in proper uniform, to check that, and then see how they react to live baseball play. So it was invaluable, and we couldn't do things like that without partnerships like we have with Area Little League. So
How old were the kids who were playing?
11s and 12s. We try to get that middle ground where cadets probably, in all likelihood, are not going to be doing perfect game finals or anything like that their first year, unless we have an extraordinary circumstance. So we try to get them sort of in that middle ground where they can feel not just the lowest levels of baseball like 7-8U, but sort of get that middle ground where they have a little bit of a bigger field and they have kids who can throw a little bit for the dimensions of the field. We usually try to get it in that 11 to 13U range, and Ariel was nice enough to get us that 11, 12-year-old range.
How did the cadets perform?
Overall, I was very impressed. Obviously, there's going to be some issues, but we have to do the evaluations relative to their experience, which is 0. So all in all, I thought they handled the situations that arose in the game very well. They were not overmatched by the level of play. They moved around the diamond very comfortably. So, I mean, all the stuff I felt like I was doing an evaluation for guys that were probably first or second year guys rather than cadets, but I think that goes to the credit of our instructors and the cadet course that we run with Kurt and Jerry and all those guys, and how much they contribute to getting these guys game ready we're talking about 8 sessions.
Yeah. Were you accompanied by Kurt and Jerry Wilgus?
Kurt and Jerry both had college games. We were assisted by Bill Boyd, so I want to thank Bill for his contributions in getting this set up and helping the cadet instruction along the way too. But we've had a lot of people reach out about the upcoming cadet clinics, and that will not be until August. So to stay tuned to those updates and the specific dates and times, real important to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and the rest of our social media. Will release those dates and times and specific information as they get scheduled.
I also know that you have recently picked up several other little leagues in South Jersey. Who were they?
We did. We were picked up 2 of the premier Little Leagues in New Jersey, not just in the area, but in New Jersey. Area Little League is a perennial powerhouse with a thriving league and registration, and Millville Little League, which we were ecstatic to get as well. So with a lot of talk about the dwindling numbers in Little League, we've got 2 of the stalwarts here in the area as far as registration, size, and level of play. So we're really happy to have another place for our cadets to go with the lower levels of the Little League, and places for our better umpires to umpire the higher levels of these Little League programs. So we're very, very fortunate to have those partnerships that we just worked out this winter. So more to the mix, and we're excited about it.
The home of Mike Trout, the greatest player who ever lived.
I was more concerned about the home of Jerry Wilgus.
Jerry Wilgus.
That's more of my interest level. So Jerry representing Millville.
Yeah. But it's funny because Mike Trout obviously is so well known that everybody, anytime the word Millville comes up, it's automatically connected to Mike Trout.
See, I just find it fascinating. You hear Millville, you think Mike Trout. I hear Millville, I think Jerry Wilgus.
Little difference in their salaries, huh?
Listen, Jerry does very well for himself. I know the numbers out there on Mike Trout are all over, but I'm not here to bash Jerry. Jerry does very well for himself, and he's one of the top umpires in all of Millville.
Jerry is sensational.
He's very good, and like I said, one of the top guys in Millville.
I like watching him. I have not worked with Jerry Wilgus. It's on my bucket list. So if it, maybe one day
I got to clear it with Jerry first. I don't know. He's not much of a talker, and you are, so.
But, I would like to work. I've worked with you. I've worked with Kurt. But I would like to work at least one game somewhere along the way.
There's one guy that can make that happen.
Who's that?
That would be me.
Right.
I'll do my best.
Anyway, another very exciting thing is we are up to about 130,000 viewers from around the world. It's simply amazing. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, we recognized a viewer from New Zealand, and we were wondering, how did that happen?
You've mentioned that many times,
Yeah,
the New Zealand presence.
That man in New Zealand, or woman, whoever it is, I salute you. Thanks for sticking with us. But anyway, so we have, again, New Zealand, we have people in Canada, we have people in Mexico, we have people in the United States. So the base is really growing. And a byproduct of all this is the fact that not only are we getting these viewers that we can measure on the computer, but there are also some inquiries just coming in through different sources.
First, I want to get to the amount, just the sheer amount of views, and which has turned into not only inquiries, but comments, questions, criticism even, but just the viral nature of the way this video took off. I remember sitting here working with Nick, editing it, and talking, 2,000, 4,000 views would be an extreme success in our mind for, the very small market of, amateur umpires. And then, we have it shared on Facebook, and then we have Ted Barrett comment on it and say, great job. And then all of a sudden, we're seeing a video that's getting 3,000 views per hour throughout the course of a single day. It makes you just think about how crazy this all is. And not only, is there a thirst out there for umpire training, but this specific topic of game management and when to eject, when not to eject, and then more how to eject when it's necessary is so undercovered and so undertaught that this just sort of took off like wildfire. And we're really looking forward to bringing more videos, more instruction to the masses out there on this very topic and some others that were brought up by our audience. So,
when I'm out and about doing errands or whatever,
just frequently,
all the time, I mention to people, and they a lot of people know I'm an umpire, and they just think I'm just limited to umpiring. And so
they figure you're an umpire when you walk around in the umpire uniform to get your pizza and dry cleaning and all that.
But I mentioned to people about this podcast. I'm really proud of what this thing has become. And it's so amazing. Like when we go to our games, we go to our scrimmages, and we're surrounded by a lot of our fellow umpires. And a lot of these guys just come up and they say, "We love the podcast. You guys are great. It's funny. At parts, it's funny, I guess. It's very informative." So it's very gratifying to get the reaction from people we know. But I mentioned to people who haven't seen it, and I just mentioned that we are doing a podcast, and I said, take a guess how many views we have. We've been doing this for 8 or 9 weeks. And someone says, maybe 100, 120. I said, you got to be kidding. I said, we're up over 125,000.
People don't find you that interesting when they first meet you. They sell you short.
They do.
You've always been the underdog story.
Don't ever underestimate me. We turn to our All Sports Officials mailbag.
All Sports Officials is now the official equipment and uniform supplier for the Tri-State Elite Umpires Association. The brick-and-mortar location and their website are both dedicated strictly to outfitting sports officials. With a tailor on location, you can always leave the store with your pants game ready. We are proud to offer a 10% discount code for all viewers of the Behind the Mask podcast. Simply enter Gear Up 2019 in the discount code box at checkout. All orders over $125 also receive free shipping. When it comes to your umpire equipment, there's no other name we'd trust than All Sports Officials.
Question number 1 from a person named CJ. I had a game last year at high school level where a runner at third recorded to try to steal home on the pitch. The catcher caught the ball and got in position to tag the runner, but the runner aggressively plowed the catcher, and I immediately ejected the runner and obviously called him out. But the coach didn't want his player to be ejected and came to talk to me calmly to see if he could be ejected instead of the kid. I let him talk, but I didn't do anything and just wanted the game to continue. Should I have done something different? I believe I did the right thing. He just wanted to substitute himself for the player so the player wouldn't be taken out of the game.
Can't do that.
No, okay. That's not nice.
Imagine what the other team would think or their thoughts would be on the player who just plowed your catcher remaining in the game. It's not only can we not do it, if we did do it, it would cause such a host of problems that now there would probably be some retaliation on deck for the player that remained in the game. And it would be a competitive advantage for the team that should have had that player ejected. So to answer your question, CJ, no, you can't do anything other than you did, and I think you know that. I'm not sure why you submitted the question. So,
yeah.
2.
Yeah. Okay, question number 2.
I'm not here to waste time, Rich.
Question number 2 by a person named Donovan. Maybe it was Donovan McNabb. Can you talk a little more about two-man rotations and fly ball responsibilities? How many Donovans do we know? Question number 2 by a person named Donovan. Question is as follows. Can you talk a little more about two-man rotations and fly ball responsibilities?
Sure. We usually neglect some of this stuff because we assume that umpires are trained to this standard anyway. But, I was talking to Nick earlier about some topics we would discuss, and I think we tend to assume that too much is being taught, that we should cover just the intricacies of umpiring when this stuff is often neglected. The rotations in a two-man system are not all that complex. There's really only two of them. When we're in B position, right, we should be in B position whether in the situations of a runner on first or runners on first and third. Those are the only times we'll be in B position. When we're in B position, the rotation situation would be on a base hit to the outfield only. A base hit to the outfield only. The plate umpire will rotate up the third baseline and take R1 on first base to third. Now, when this happens, it's really important for the plate umpire to communicate to the base umpire that he is on the way and is at third base, so the base umpire can sort of relax and stay on the first base side of the mound so we don't get two umpires in the same area. When we get to C position, first and second, less than 2 outs, the only rotation we can have is in this situation, and on a fly ball to the outfield with first and second, less than 2 outs, on a fly ball to the outfield with both runners tagging, the plate umpire has to rotate to the third base to take R2 tagging from second base to third base. The base umpire would take R1 tagging from first base to second base. So there's not a ton of rotations. There's only 2 of them. But it's really important to be on the same page with your partner as to when that rotation will happen, and then also communicate when you're when the rotation is in progress, so everybody can relax and know that all the bases are covered. So that's really only the 2 rotations. As far as fly ball responsibility is concerned, that's an excellent question, and we have an interesting way of teaching it. When you're in A position with nobody on, your fly ball responsibility as a base umpire is the center fielder ranging towards right field, and anything in that area that is either A, over an outfielder's head, 2 fielders converging on each other, fair or foul being in question, a sinking line drive or trouble ball, a possible home run or ground rule double. If any of those things come into the mix, you as the base umpire in A position should go out. If you go out, the plate umpire then has everything on the infield. If you go out, stay out. That's the way we teach it. All right. Once we get in the middle of the diamond, all right, I know a lot is taught about the cone. The cone meaning the shoulders, the inside shoulders of the left and right fielder. But if you're a base umpire in B and C position, I would really suggest that you take fly ball responsibility unless fair or foul is in question, which means we open that cone a little bit wider. It's just a lot easier. So if we have a right fielder or a left fielder ranging towards the foul lines where a tough call could be considered the fair foul call, we should allow the plate umpire to take those. But just because the left fielder takes 2 steps towards the foul line does not mean that I think that the plate umpire should take that call. Only when fair or foul is in question. If we do that, we're going to take a lot less stress off the plate, a lot more stress off the plate umpire. So when this happens, that ball gets hit into the air when you're in the middle of the diamond. Again, while that ball is in the air, we teach this all the time at training, we should be communicating as an umpire crew. So if that ball is going towards the line and I as a plate umpire feel like this ball is going to be a questionable fair foul call, I'll say, Rich, I have the ball, you have everything else. Vice versa, if the ball is going towards the line but you don't feel like it's a fair foul, or I don't feel like it's a fair foul, I'll say, Rich, you have the ball. This way we can communicate while the ball's in the air and we know where everybody is, instead of you watching the catch or no catch and having to look back at me to see if I called it and there being a whole bunch of confusion. So in the middle of the diamond, catch no catch responsibility will go to the plate umpire only when fair or foul is in question, but when in doubt, communicate while the ball's in the air and we'll all be a lot better off.
That's a good question, and the explanation was even better.
Wow. Yeah. Donovan, I didn't mean to trump you. Not to offend you, but...
No, it was a good question, a really good question.
I thought it was excellent.
Yeah, and your response and explanation was sensational.
I appreciate that.
Okay. Question 3 comes from a person named Brian. Congratulations on reaching more than 100,000 views on YouTube.
Appreciate that.
I don't have an actual question because my only problem is now your arrogant ego is only going to get bigger, and we all have to suffer. Wow. But the answer to that, if I might say, is if you're good, you're good.
I appreciate you defending me, but I have to question how the question got here once again. And there's not like we have an entire production staff here. This had to get through the hands of one of two people, so I have to question the motive there. But Brian, I appreciate the congratulations. As for the rest of the question, I don't know why the hell you're watching. Question 4, please.
Question 4 from Craig. I watched the ejection video on YouTube. You're welcome for my view, by the way.
Appreciate that.
My question is, when will you eject yourself for being such a
These questions are brutal.
I wonder how long these people spend writing these questions.
Well, Craig, I don't think we're going to be. I'm not going to eject myself from my own podcast. Get to the mailbag, Rich. What is it? Scanzano Sports?
Scanzano's question of the week.
Go ahead.
The highlight of our week.
Go to Mike. Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Mike Scanzano, Scanzano Sports, and this is our question of the week.
The Scanzano Sports Center is a 40,000 square foot indoor sports facility conveniently located in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Scanzano Sports is home to Combat Baseball, one of the fastest growing travel baseball programs in the tri-state area. Whether you are looking for specialized instruction, a premier facility to work out in, or to try the brand new pitching laboratory, Scanzano Sports has you covered. To visit them on the web, please visit scanzanosports.com.
The Scanzano question of the week is coming in from Bob, and it reads as follows. I'm starting my 3rd year of umpiring, the first with TSE. Last year I had 14 or 15 U travel games. I'm doing the bases, a runner on first, less than 2 outs. I'm in the B position. Runner attempts to steal second, catcher throws through, but the ball drifts to the first base side of the bag. As the runner starts to slide straight to the bag, the fielder goes for the ball. Just as the ball hit his glove, they collide. The ball rolls free. Both players are dazed and laying on the ground. The other infielder picks up the ball and tags the runner who never made it to the bag. I call him out. Both coaches come on the field to check on their players. After seeing both players are okay, the coaches calmly ask for an explanation of the call. I calmly say that the runner has the right to slide straight into the bag and the fielder has the right to go for the ball. I borrow a phrase from football and say it was incidental contact. Both coaches walk away satisfied. Was that the right way to handle the coaches? But more importantly, was that the right call?
Bob wrote a small novel here, so I appreciate the question. Have you ever noticed these questions, everyone, whenever they described the way they were talking, they were always very calm. I calmly said, I calmly explained. I'm sure everyone was.
You should take a commercial break between part of that question.
Please feel free to visit our website at tseumpires.com, on Facebook at Tri-State Elite Umpires, and you can always DM us on our Instagram page, TSE_umpires. That's a cheap shot at Bob. You're the one who has to read it.
I almost couldn't, I was on one breath, I couldn't read it.
To answer the question, no, that was not the right call. You can't have two players dazed, possibly concussed, laying on the ground incoherent, and call anybody out. As soon as this play happens, as soon as the players collide, as soon as you see that they're both not getting up, they're both injured, you have to call time. You can't have someone picking up and tagging an unconscious player. So, no, we did not handle this correctly. We should have called time immediately when we've seen a serious injury occur. The runner stealing second would have gotten second base, and we would have killed the play. So, kind of weird, but no, we didn't get that right. I appreciate the question, and I'm a little gun-shy now when I hear these questions because I just wait for the insult to fly out. When it doesn't come, I'm a little defensive, so I'm a little defensive. I get myself ready to go to combat the insults that have flown through towards me. You know, I have a thick skin, but not that thick.
It's amazing how some of these people could just go on the attack all day long.
Listen, when you're in the public eye, you've got to deal with criticism. Yeah. And, you know, I let it roll off my back, but sometimes I get a little intense.
Anyway, I think this brings us to the end of episode 9.
What a outstanding transition by you.
Wow. This was a lot of fun. We
I had a good time answering the ruthless questions.
responding to the insults. But when you're at the top of the game, obviously the rest of the world is taking shots at you.
It's very nice of you, Rich.
Yeah, but undeserved. Because I know how hard you work and how good you are, so just take it in stride. But we'll be back next week for number 10, Behind the Mask. And maybe by then we'll be up well over 200,000 views.
I would doubt it.
I'm gonna go out on a limb. I mean, we're at 130,000 right now. We're gonna be up over 200,000 by the time we sit here for next week's broadcast.
Thank you for watching episode 9. Please be sure to like and comment on our Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube page. Your subscription on our YouTube page is very helpful to us. See you next week for episode 10.
Well, whatever happens, happens.
Right. If I want to punch him in the face, I will.
Until you got your dunk on.
Rich, how many weeks are we going with that joke?
Yeah.
And he goes like this.
So you have seen the video.
Okay, that should make the cut of him making fun of me and mocking me.
You always got to do two hands because you don't want to bend the arms.
I will take note of that.
All sports officials mailbag. What do we? I mean, this is not the Scanzano question. No.
No?
Okay.
It's called the All Sports Officials Mailbag.
Wait. So in some respects, he's having a good week.
Rich, get to the question before I lose it.
Okay. You have to know when to stop talking.
Let's start now.
I've seen that coming from a mile away.
That
He doesn't like that.